Hey, I'm Five Philo, and today I'm breaking down my song Never Ends. I'm going to show you guys the decisions I've made throughout the track to make it what it is. I'm also going to show you all the different sounds in the song, but I'm also going to explain the challenges that I had making this song because it's so simple. It actually took me by surprise because this is probably my simplest track, let's say, that I've made. And I was very tempted to overly complicate it. This track was the song that I probably most wrestled with in terms of like I wanted to add more things, but then I had to think of the reason why I was adding those things. Ultimately, I had to strip back a lot of things to try and keep the essence that I wanted the song to have. So first of all, not a lot going on in terms of instruments, okay? So we have the bass guitar. So it has 5 different parts. This one here. Now to start off, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I didn't play this bass line in one take. While I was making the track, I just wanted to get the ideas that I had into my head into the computer. If I had tried to play those ideas that I had in my head on the bass, I would have probably had to practice it probably at least a couple hours because it is quite tricky. So my sole purpose was just to get this idea down. So while I was making this track, I was just trying to get it down as soon as I can because sometimes when you have an idea, if you don't put it down, you forget it. And it's really painful because it's like you remember the feeling that it was a good idea, but because you didn't capture it, it just kind of goes. And it's just ideas that come and go. So yeah. So I actually, if you can see here, I had to record separate parts. So I had this one in here, which sounds like literally that. And then I go into the next part, and which goes, and then here, and then here. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel like a fraud in some kind of way, but like, I'm gonna have to be real with you. I had to do it in 4 different parts. I was just trying to get my idea down. And that's what it sounds like altogether. What I like doing when I do like chords, I like to sometimes start with something simple or simpler and then kind of build on from there. So I like to layer things so it sounds like really full and warm. So I have this main melody. I'll play you the second melody that plays alongside it. This is what it sounds like. By the way, I've added some like tape noise in there, so I'm just gonna turn that off for the purpose of this video. A lot cleaner, right? That's all it's doing. So along with the main melody, this is what it sounds like. Then we move on to the third melody, bass melody. Here's what that sounds like. Again, quite simple. If I add that to the bass melody 2, this is what it sounds like. And along with the main melody, here's what that sounds like. Now I could have left it at that, but I had an idea for something else. So when I have ideas, I just like to put it down and then think about what I'm gonna do with them later. So I could have definitely added this next one and then decided later that there's no point of keeping it. But in the end, it stayed there, and this is what it sounds like. So we have this melody 4. Nice. So it's got that little sliding thing at the beginning. Here's that along with melody 3 and 2 and the main melody. Then I just have a simple bass line just to add body to the whole track. Because this song is so stripped back, I wanted there to be a moment in the song, even though I'm already playing bass chords to have the lower frequency just kind of fill in that space, especially if you're listening to the song through speakers. I mean, you probably also get the same through headphones as well. It's that kind of sound that you just like feel in your chest that feels like warm. So this is what that sounds like. So this is it. So super simple. It's just giving that awesome body of warmth. So this is what it sounds like along with everything else. Now, you might have noticed this, you might have not, but I do like to add ambient sounds to the track. I think it adds so much when I'm making music, and if it sounds like empty and awkward, it's usually because it's missing some sort of like sounds that we hear every day. We are never in an environment really, or I'd like to think 99.9% of us, where there is total silence. There is always some sort of sound going on. So you could do a test right now. You could just stop there for a second and just see what you can hear. Depending on where you live, you're either hearing cars, tires, traffic, police sirens, or birds chirping, a little bit of wind, a random crow. I recorded this song at my parents' house, and there's a lot of birds outside the window. So I recorded some birds chirping while I was making the song, and it was really nice because it was like a part of the process. While I was laying the bass guitars down, there was also these sounds going on, and I recorded this with my iPhone. Just birds chirping. So I started making this song like a while ago. Like I'm talking about like 3-4 years ago. So it's kind of gone through a little process from start to finish. I've had quite a few different versions of it. But one thing that I wanted to add recently when I've been working on the song is some strings, because I love, violin, cello, orchestral music in general. I just think there's so much emotion in that kind of music that I just wanted to bring to this track. And especially because I'm only basically having bass chords in there, there's so much space for the higher frequencies that I could use with the cello and everything else. I'm just going to show you the different parts that I have for this string section. I have some strings just playing this. Just those high notes, we're just holding it. Doesn't make much sense by itself, but you'll see when everything is added together. It's just, I like to hold notes like this sometimes. I have a high melody here. So along with that high track there, this is what that sounds like. One of the reasons why I like to just hold one note throughout is that it creates so much suspense and tension that I kind of wanted to bring to this part of the song, since it's the second and it's the last chorus. I just wanted so much tension in there, and then basically like a relief at the end of that. I was very intentional about that. Then we have these, which I think might be cellos. Let's check it out. Then we also have this part here, which I think goes really well with the first bit here. So that's what that sounds like. Some bass there for that part as well. Just makes it sound quite epic. And then again, I think we have more cellos in here. I just love cellos, so. Now for me, that's got a lot of body, a lot of emotion there, but it doesn't sound nearly as good without those higher sounds that we have there on the string section. So I'm just gonna add that for a second so you can hear the difference it makes. For me, it just makes it sound so much fuller. It just stretches that across the whole sound frequency spectrum, and that's that. So we literally have bass and string section on that part. The rest is all vocals. So I split these into leads, stacks, and background vocals. And a lot of these are muted actually. So I actually took a lot of these off as I added the string sections, because that string section wasn't there before. I was doing some vocal ideas which kind of sounded like the string section. So here are the leads. I was very intentional with how I wanted the lead vocals to sound. I had a reference track that I really liked, and I wanted just to use a bit of that essence that's in the reference track, and that is a song by Nirvana, Something in the Way. I love the way Kurt Cobain's voice is so raw in that song, and how close it sounds to you. When I hear that song, it sounds like he's like right here. I wanted to try and do the same thing with this track here. I wanted it to sound like my voice, I'm singing right next to you kind of thing, and I wanted you to hear all the imperfections and emotion in my voice, and the smallest of details of even how I pronounce my words, or how raspy my voice is, or how sometimes shaky when I say certain words. I wanted to have all of that in there. And it was actually uncomfortable to do that, because like most of the time I want my voice to sound like very well polished and crisp, and I can do that. But with this song, I was intentionally making it as raw sounding as I could. So here's what my lead vocals sound like by itself.
I've never felt nothing like this. When I'm with you, I drown in bliss.
So you see how close that sounds?
I didn't know I had. Bandages keep falling and I lean for a kiss.
I did that on purpose. I wanted you to really feel that bit. Oh, let me not forget, I had some speaking bits in there. So I wanted it to sound like I'm there speaking to you, but also having a conversation at the same time. So I added in little bits there. I am not doing much to the vocals at all. Just a little bit of EQ.
Babe, come here, give me a kiss.
And I wanted it to sound as natural as I could, of like how I would say it, just as if I was talking to someone kind of thing.
I really hope this just never ends.
You know, almost like we're having a deep conversation. That's it for the lead vocals, of course. I have the rap bit.
Never met someone as kind as you. Never felt or seen as so beautiful. I could stare into your eyes the whole day. Hug you tight cause I'm scared that you'll slip away.
I just wanted it super raw. Vulnerable is probably a good word. As honest as I can, like how I wanted it to sound. It's just like how I would be speaking to you one-on-one kind of thing. We have the stacks here. What's going on?
I hope this never ends.
Yeah.
I hope this never ends.
So these, I wanted it to sound super dreamy in contrast to the lead vocals. So with the leads, I have it very dry, very in your face. Basically, when you hear it, I wanted it to expand and sound like you're kind of hearing it in a dream sort of thing. I wanted it to sound very dreamy and beautiful. So along with the dry leads, here's what that sounds like.
I hope this never ends. I hope this never ends.
See how that carries on? expanding. We have more of that in here with more layers, because that's the last chorus. So again, I wanted it to be like bigger. And then I have the backing vocals. I hope this never ends, never ends, never ends. Hope this never ends, never ends. This kind of goes hand in hand with the stacks I had before. I didn't want it as dreamy, but I kind of wanted it in the background, almost like walking about when you hear it. This is quite an intense bit of the track, so I just wanted to have more little details in there that would fill up that space. Here's what the background vocals with the stacks and leads sound like together. I hope this never ends. I hope this never ends. Yeah, I just think it added like an extra layer in there. In the midst of like that reverb, you still have some stuff going on in the background as well. And that is essentially the whole track. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of this song. Thank you so much for listening to it. If you haven't, check it out. If you have any questions, comments, please share them and I would be happy to answer. Thank you so much.